God is dead. 3 words. Perhaps the most explosive, misunderstood, and terrifying words in the history of philosophy. When Friedrich Nietzsche unleashed this bombshell upon the world, he wasn't just making a statement about religious belief. He was announcing a cataclysm, the collapse of an entire worldview that had anchored Western civilization for 2 millennia. But this wasn't just a prophecy of doom. Within this abyss of lost certainty, Nietzsche saw a terrifying, exhilarating opportunity. If God is dead, then humanity is finally untethered, terrifyingly free, and faced with its greatest challenge yet. You must create meaning. What does it truly mean for God to be dead? It's not that Nietzsche joyfully killed him off. He saw it as a cultural event, a gradual erosion of faith in a divine order, in a transcendent source of truth, morality, and purpose. The scientific revolution, the Enlightenment, the rise of secularism, all had chipped away at the foundations. And Nietzsche, with his unflinching gaze, simply dared to announce the inevitable consequence. The foundation was gone. The central sun around which humanity had oriented its values was extinguished, and with it, the very basis for objective meaning in the universe. This, Nietzsche warned, would unleash a crisis of unimaginable proportions: nihilism. The creeping suspicion, then the terrifying certainty that everything is meaningless, that there are no absolute values, no ultimate purpose, no inherent good or evil. If God is dead, then everything is permitted, as Dostoevsky's character proclaimed. For Nietzsche, this wasn't a cause for celebration, but a profound danger, the potential for humanity to sink into a bottomless despair, a passive resignation, a will to nothingness. He saw it as the great shadow looming over the next 2 centuries, our shadow. Friedrich Nietzsche himself was a philosopher unlike any other, a poet, a prophet, a fierce cultural critic, often misunderstood as a champion of nihilism when, in fact, his entire philosophy was a desperate, passionate struggle against it. He lived a life of intense suffering, both physical and mental, yet from this crucible, he forged some of the most radical and life-affirming ideas ever conceived. He called himself Dynamite, and his mission was to clear away the rubble of dead idols to make way for something new, something stronger. So, when Nietzsche's madman runs into the marketplace crying, "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him," he's met with laughter and confusion. The people don't yet understand the magnitude of their own deed, the cosmic implications of this event. They haven't yet felt the cold, the darkness, the unmooring that comes when the stars that guided them have vanished. Nietzsche knew that the death of God wasn't just an intellectual puzzle. It was an existential earthquake that would force humanity to reevaluate everything. But here's the twist, the core of Nietzsche's provocative challenge. This abyss of meaninglessness is also an open sea of possibility. The death of God, while terrifying, is also profoundly liberating. If there are no preordained values, no divine script for our lives, then we are free, terrifyingly free, to become the creators of our own values, the authors of our own meaning. This is not a task for the faint of heart. It is a burden, a responsibility that most will shrink from. But for those who can bear it, it is the path to a higher form of humanity. This brings us to Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, often translated as the Overman or Superman. This is not some Nietzschean master race, as it was horrifically misconstrued later, but an ideal, a goal for humanity to strive for after the death of God. The Übermensch is the individual who has looked nihilism in the face and overcome it, not by retreating to old faiths or new illusions, but by embracing earthly existence in all its beauty and terror, and by creating new, life-affirming values. The Übermensch says yes to life, even to its suffering, because they find meaning in the creative act itself, in the constant overcoming of oneself. Fueling this creative act, this self-overcoming, is what Nietzsche called the will to power. Again, this is often misunderstood as a crude desire for domination over others. For Nietzsche, it was far more fundamental. The basic driving force in all living things, an instinct for growth, expansion, expression, and the assertion of one's strength and perspective. It is the will to create, to strive, to master, to impose form on chaos. The will to power isn't necessarily about controlling others, but about mastering oneself and creatively shaping one's world and one's values. It is the engine that drives the Übermensch to say yes to life and to forge meaning from the raw material of existence. To do this, Nietzsche called for a revaluation of all values. The old, God-given morality, he argued, was often a slave morality, born out of resentment and a denial of life's instincts. It elevated meekness, pity, and self-sacrifice while condemning strength, pride, and sensuality. With God dead, these values lose their transcendent justification. The Übermensch, therefore, must become a creator of values, forging a new master morality that is life-affirming, that celebrates strength, creativity, joy, and the full spectrum of human experience, even its darker aspects. It's about moving beyond good and evil as traditionally defined, and creating values that serve life and the will to power. This is the ultimate challenge, to become who you are. Not to conform to some external ideal or societal expectation, but to discover your deepest self, your unique potential, and to cultivate it with courage and artistry. It's a process of constant self-overcoming, of shaping your character, of living authentically and passionately, even in a world stripped of ultimate guarantees. How does Nietzsche's century-old bombshell resonate today? Perhaps more than ever. We live in an age often described as secular, postmodern, fragmented. Many feel adrift, searching for purpose in a world that offers a cacophony of competing truths, but no single unifying narrative. The anxiety of meaninglessness, the allure of nihilism. These are very real contemporary struggles. Nietzsche's philosophy, while demanding and sometimes unsettling, offers a powerful counter-narrative. Embrace the freedom, however terrifying. Take responsibility for creating value. Dare to live as if your life, your choices, your creations are the only meaning there is. It's not an easy path. It requires courage, creativity, and a willingness to stand alone, to be misunderstood. But the alternative for Nietzsche was far worse. The last man, the comfortable, complacent creature who seeks only trivial pleasures and security, devoid of great passion or aspiration, the ultimate embodiment of nihilistic fatigue. So, Nietzsche's cry that God is dead is not an end point, but a starting pistol. It signals the end of one era of human meaning and the urgent, necessary beginning of another, one where meaning is not found but forged, where values are not inherited but created, where you, the individual, are called upon to become the artist of your own existence. What does Nietzsche's death of God mean to you? In a world without absolute certainties, how do you find or create meaning and value in your life? Is the challenge of the Übermensch inspiring or terrifying? Share your thoughts and struggles in the comments below. If this exploration of Nietzsche's radical ideas has challenged you and sparked a fire within, please like this video. Subscribe to One Pixel Soul for more philosophical dynamite, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future journeys into the heart of what it means to be human. Thank you for confronting these profound questions with us. The path of the Creator is a difficult one, but perhaps, as Nietzsche believed, it is the only one truly worth walking. Keep questioning, keep creating, and dare to become who you are. We'll see you in the next one.